All right, let's get serious. This ought to do the trick. Well, Cubby went and did it again. She pointed out some trophies. Look at these potatoes she pointed for us. Yeah, once again, this versatile gun dog is proving her worth. But you know what these potatoes remind me of? Life back on the farm when I was a kid. And that reminds me of my first deer hunt ever in the Black Hills of South Dakota with a 30-30 Model 94 lever action rifle, Cubby. Let's go back to those good old days and see what that 30-30 can do. Oh, the old 30-30. First center fire of my childhood. So I was 16 years of age when I made my first deer hunt, and you can imagine I was pretty excited. And I got to use the classic cowboy gun 30-30. And I made a heck of a lucky shot on a running deer. I've told this story many times, but it's probably worth telling again. So I'm in a line of good old-fashioned walkers, and we're pushing these deer into saddles so the blockers can shoot them. I mean, it's just the general melee, the way it was back in the middle of the 20th century. So I'm stuck far on the end of the line so I don't get in any trouble or shoot anybody, I reckon. Down at the far end of the line comes the shooting, and it escalates and it crescendos up the line. My goodness, there's either a lot of deer jumping up or one of them is surviving a lot of shooting. Well, that's what was happening. One deer came busting over this hill in snow. I mean, we had probably 1.5 feet of snow on the ground, and I could see two older guys on my left. And the one shoots, misses. He shoots again and misses. And I figure, well, the deer's never going to get past this last guy. I mean, how lucky can you get to have the whole line miss that deer? Yet this guy misses once, misses twice. My gosh, the deer is going to run by me at within 50 yards. It has no antlers. It's just a deer, but that's okay. It was legal, and I had my trusty 30-30 with which I had never shot anything before but a target. And I swung on that deer and I fired and missed just like everyone else had. And then my brain was spinning 60 miles an hour, and I'm remembering what I'd read. Jack O'Connor, the 30-30 rainbow trajectory. You really have to lead your animal. It's a slow bullet. You got to swing out in front of them and keep swinging. So I swung out in front of that deer, and I swung so far that I could hardly see it in my peripheral vision. And having shot a lot of running jackrabbits with a 22 rimfire, my brain said, "Hey, stupid, that's way too much lead. It's not that far away. You don't have to lead it that much." So I came back. And as I came back and that deer came into my vision, I pulled the trigger with a reverse lead, hit it right in the heart, and it died right there at full stride right in the snow. Cheers erupt from the crowd. The two old guys patted me on the back, dressed out my big button buck for me, and carried it out of the woods. What a memory. And that's why I want to hunt back there with this 30-30. I'm going to be right on the edge of the Black Hills again with my old friend George King. And I want to try the 30-30 one more time. But I haven't used this model for several years, so I don't even know if it's zeroed. I'm going to zero this thing. Now, part of the reason I'm doing this is just to show you how to zero an open-sighted rifle. Now, you might get lucky and this thing is right on. So we're going to find out. But the first thing I'm going to do is shoot at 50 yards and just see where it hits. And I'm going to measure my velocity on my little chronograph right here. So we're going to zero for maximum point blank range with a 30-30. But first we have to see if we're anywhere close to the target and then figure out how to drift these sights to make them on target. It's not as easy as adjusting a scope. So with that in mind, I have some Winchester Ballistic Silvertip 30-30 150 grain bullets here. And we're going to see what happens when I load them into this rifle. Now, a big part of zeroing with open sights is deciding how you're going to hold it. Is your front sight going to be at the bottom of the notch or flush with the upper edge of the notch? And is your target going to be covered up by the front post or sitting on top of it? So I am going to go for the front post sitting just underneath my target. So the white dot out there is going to be sitting on top of my front post. And the front post is going to be level with the rear top of the U in the bottom of the rear buckhorn sight. Not as complicated as it sounds, but you do have to decide that before you shoot. And here we go. Not a bad trigger. I can live with that. 2,500 feet per second. Whoa! I figured it for 2,200. Well, here's the hit. I was holding right there. The bottom of the post sat right like that so I could see the white as well as my eyes can see it. So I'm up an inch, almost 2. And that is where I want to be zeroed with this load. We'll talk more about that later. But obviously I'm shooting too far to the left. So we've got to bring this guy over about 1-2 inches from the left. And there's no graduations on this thing. I'll go show you how to zero this crazy open sight. It's just a matter of hammering it into position. So we've got to bring it to the right about 2 inches. Well, I've unloaded this for safe reasons, obviously, but so now what we have to do is drift this. It's held in a dovetail, that rear sight ramp. Held in a dovetail right there. We need to move the rear sight in the direction we want the bullet to go, the hits to go. So we need to go right. We're going to move that right. You can tap it with a hammer. You can use a pin to drive. This one's a little bit small and it's not brass, so you could scratch. You could also use a dowel rod and whack it over. But since I have a soft hammer, I think I can just tap it. The trick is, how much do you tap it and move it? And do you even know if it moved? I don't know. I'm taking a wild donkey guess here. But I don't want to move it too much. Huh. Yeah. Maybe no. I don't know. You know what we're going to do? Take another shot. See what happens. We'll see what we got. 433 this time. Well, good news and bad news. The bad news is I didn't move it at all. The good news is I've got a really accurate rifle. Look at that. They're touching. Of course, we're at 50 yards, but even at 100 yards, that would be a heck of a group. If I can keep that going. So apparently my eyes aren't as bad as I thought they were, but I've got to get that thing moved over. So time for a heavier hammer, I guess. A stronger whack. All right, let's get serious. This ought to do the trick. No, just kidding. We're not ready for this one yet, but I've got a pretty good substitute right here. Framing hammer from the grandkids. Oh boy, got my padding down now. I suspect a real gunsmith would have padded jaws on a vise and really hold this thing solidly. And probably have some leather to put over here so I don't screw up the bluing. Since I don't have that, maybe I'll just put this toweling over it. And that will prevent the scratching. But, oh man, that thing is hard to move. And then the crazy thing, now look at there. We got motion, guys, but way too much. About drove it on through. Okay, live and learn. We're going to come back. Yeah, the Tappet brothers. Coming closer. All right, let's see how far off we are this time. Let's see what we did. We were here, we wanted to come over a couple of inches. Look at this, just grazed the edge of the box. We're off by a good 9 inches. Back to the drawing board. Okay, folks, bear with me here. The grandpa fix-it hammer whacks again. Yeah, that looks pretty close. That might do the job right there, guys. Brought it over about 4. Gotta come over some more. You've got to move that rear sight where you want your bullets to move to. So if you need to go right, drift that rear sight to the right. Right now, we're too far right, so we're coming back to the left. And Grandpa Ron will keep working on it. We're there! We made it! Dropped a little bit of my elevation, but the windage is right there, guys. Woo-hoo! Hallelujah! Now if I want to tweak the elevation, and I don't really think I need to, but I think it might come up a half, but let's just try it. That one has a ramp on it, so there's consistency. We're not going to be hammering anything and making guesses. So let's go try that. Okay, guys, we're there on our windage. Now, there's a ramp on the back, and you just lift the rear sight and slide the ramp. And again, move the ramp in the direction you want your hits to go. I want to go higher, so I need to move my ramp to make that higher. I hope I get this right. Oh, I slid back, and they've got little notches in there. I want to get back to a notch and lock it in. So I went one notch up. We'll get some fine detail shots in here. If we don't see them very well with this camera, we'll do it again later just to show you that. But it's just a ramp that sits there under pressure. This is a spring. Spring pressure is pushing down on it. So I have moved it up, and it feels like it's pretty solidly locked into place. Now I hope I didn't go too high. We're going to find out by burning up some more of Winchester's ammunition. Holding here, hoping to hit here, so we're up 1, 2.5. It's a little bit high, but what this is going to do is give us more reach before our bullet falls under our target. 2 inches high on a deer is nothing. Let's go see what we did. I thought I was holding way down here, right at about there. I might have been right about there. It was hard to tell. So look at how many inches we've gone up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5, almost 7 inches. I'm going to take that ladder back down. Okay, so now I just need to lift my ramp and go back to my original setting on this elevation. Here we go. There. I think that will be about right. Let's try a 100-yard shot now. Here we go again. More exercise. Well, now look what happened. I'm way down here. What a change. My goodness. That ramp makes some really big changes. But again, I was aiming here, so I'm only a couple of inches up. That to me is not bad. Like I said, I'm probably going to be taking this deer inside of 100 yards. So if I'm 1.5 inches to 2 inches high at 50, and I'm 1.5 inches to 2 inches high at 100, I'll probably be 4 inches low, maybe 3 or 4 inches low at 150, and that's all the farther I'm going to shoot at anything. I can't see it any farther than that. So that's zeroing an open-sighted 30-30, guys. You excuse me right now, I have got about an hour left in the sharp-tail hunting season for the year, and I have a dog back at the house who's really eager to go and try to find one. Last chance, so wish us luck. We'll see you guys later. Good girl, bring it here. Right here, good girl.